Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November 17th, 2025 meeting of the Surry County Board of Commissioners. Got a lot on the agenda tonight, so we'll get right into it. The invocation and pledge of allegiance, Commissioner Eddie Harris. Everyone, please stand.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight to do the people's business in Surry County. We look for wisdom and we look for guidance. We hope that we will do our business pleasing unto thee, dear Lord. We ask for you to watch over our county and its citizens and our nation, our country. Keep us safe. And dear Lord, give us safe travel and mercy on the way home tonight. And these things we ask in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Harris. Next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Commissioner Hyatt. I have a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Goins. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next, the approval of the recessed October the 20th, 25 meeting minutes and November 3rd, 2025 meeting minutes. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hyatt. Any discussion? Harris. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next is the consent agenda. We have 4 bullet points tonight, and I'll ask County Manager Chris Knopf to go over those.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First are the Tax Department end-of-month summaries, charges, and reports. Next is a resolution permitting countywide fire service district to provide rescue. Those are will allow those fire departments to provide some service of rescue to use these funds for those services as well. Next, there are from HR workers' compensation claims, and then from the finance officer, budget amendment number 7. And Justin's here in case you have any specific questions on the budget amendment.
All right, anyone have any questions? Justin? All right. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Tucker. A second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Goins. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next is the open forum. At this time, if you would, if you have anything you'd like to say or come up and comment about, just give us your name and telephone number, and we'd be glad to hear from you. No takers? All right, I'll close the open forum. Next on the agenda is Penny Harrison, Tax Administrator. Request to proceed with foreclosure sale. Good evening, Penny.
Good evening.
Starts, if I could explain just to the board very briefly, the parameter I'm going to cover because the appellant is not here. Would that be okay with the chairman?
Sure.
Okay, what you have tonight is an appeal of the valuation of 2 parcels, 601, ending in 601 and 602. This board is sitting in lieu of the Board of Equalization. It's a quasi.
Second one. We're on the foreclosure sale.
Well, I just got ahead of myself. I am really
I know
sorry.
you're chomping at the bit, so.
Did not bill for tonight. That's
Okay, we'll let Penny talk about the foreclosure sale, and then I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so we have a foreclosure at 380 Simpson Road, and we have a preferred bidder that has already submitted funds to the Kenya Law Firm. I went and done a site visit, and it appears to be an abandoned property. It appears to be no one living there or anything like that. It will be, ready to be sold with the rest of the foreclosures in January. If you approve this to be sold, they'll put the sign out in the yard after you approve them. They've been advertised in the newspaper at the Mount Airy News and at the in the Elkin Tribune.
All right. Anyone have any questions for Penny?
Where is Simpson Road? Refresh me on this here.
If you go, it's, it's,
601.
yes,
Copeland Community, kind of, sort of.
yes, it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, we went,
It's,
yeah.
This end comes out on Turkey Fork.
yes,
Between Turkey Ford and 268.
so it's down, okay, down in the southern end of the county.
Yeah,
Down below my house.
Okay.
central, southern, central, yeah.
it was curvy, yeah. Yes,
You say it's abandoned? Is that what you, did I?
it is abandoned, yes.
And
It's all grass. I mean, nobody's lived there in a while. Nobody's mowed.
house, habitable?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. They'll have to gut it. It's a little mobile home,
It's a mobile home, a double wide, looks like.
single wide.
Wide.
Hmm.
I'm good, thank you, yes.
Any more questions? All right, do we have a motion for Penny to proceed with the foreclosure sale?
Make a motion that we proceed with the foreclosure sale.
Motion by Commissioner Goins. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any more discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, see that the appeal group's not here at this time. Move to let Jessica come on forward. We'll come back to you, Penny. Thank you. Next is Jessica Montgomery, Public Works Director, North Carolina Helene Recovery Recycling Infrastructure Grant. Good evening, Jessica.
Thank you. This is a very exciting grant opportunity that's come up. Not many of these come available for Public Works, but this one has come up and Surry County is eligible. So I think it's exciting and I think we should definitely take opportunity and respond. Don't know how many of you've seen our recycling shed there at the landfill, but it was literally put up with a hope and a prayer, and it's been standing with one since. I have some pictures I can pass around. You can take a look at.
Well, I've seen it and I've read through it and I don't see any reason why we would not.
There is no match required with this grant. It is in dire need. This is built atop of a landfill. So I think it would be best to build new on top of virgin ground material, somewhere safe for our employees, somewhere safe for our recycling infrastructure to continue. Because right now, honestly, if something like Helene was to come through here, our recycling would stop.
Or a fork truck take out a couple of poles.
Yes, which honestly has happened. You can see the angle iron that's protecting it from where they have hit them before. So we should definitely apply if we can, if you would support this, I would get to work tomorrow.
How competitive do you feel like it's going to be? I know we're in an eligible county, but do you feel like money will be very competitive, or because we are in that criterion of counties that would need to be eligible, do you feel like we got a pretty good chance? Do you feel like it's a long shot, or we got a fair chance, or any way to ascertain that?
I do feel like, every county probably on that list will apply for something, but I feel like with what we have here, when they look at this and they see what we have and what we need, I think it's I think we can put together a really good package.
So are you, so the plan would be to tear this one down, is that right? Or a new
It would
site?
be. It would be to demo this one because I think it is unsafe, and to build a new one.
Will it still be in existence while we're building the new one, or?
It would need to stay in existence to keep on. It would.
So where would you put the footprint for the new one?
I would suggest going back behind the scale house now. That's the only ground that we have that doesn't have trash on it.
So you're talking about completely relocating it?
Yes,
Okay, yeah,
but still at the landfill site.
yeah, but not on the same footprint.
Yes, not there because there's trash there and I don't know how deep it is and we would have to have deep foundation and that would be very costly.
So you wouldn't necessarily have to tear this one down. I mean.
You wouldn't have to.
But under it, I mean.
You might be able to use it as storage, but I definitely wouldn't want to keep people and
Right.
stuff under there
but, yeah,
constantly.
I mean, keeping stuff dry is keeping stuff dry. I mean, yeah. Okay.
Of what you're going to ask for.
I'm going to definitely ask for a building of the same footprint. More than likely, equipment would be enclosed, so we would have to have new equipment that would be electric, because you wouldn't want the carbon monoxide. Also, some compactors, cardboard compactors at different sites that don't have them, so we could increase capacity for cardboard. And storage probably would be more of it wouldn't be the storage that we see here, like with the metal building. We'd probably have more of the fabric type building, so it'd be a little bit more economical.
Would you be thinking about a red iron building? I'm assuming.
More than likely.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine these little tubular steel buildings you see going up around the county
Yes.
now. I mean, that wouldn't be really practical.
Any more questions? All right, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we allow Jessica to proceed and give her permission to apply for this grant and give her permission to go ahead with the application. I wish you good luck. I commend you for looking at things like that might benefit us, and I know it's well needed, and wish you good luck, but I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Tucker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hyatt. Any more discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Got any jokes, Ed? Howard?
All right, we'll skip on down. We'll get to you, Justin. Monthly finance update.
It looks a little different this month. I appreciate y'all taking a look at it. It's a little more expanded than normal, but it's broken down into our funds. Page one's like a table of contents that'll direct you where you want to look. 2 and 3 are summary of general fund revenues and expenditures along with landfill and airport enterprise funds. 4 is the tax revenues through the 4th month. We still have some sales that'll be coming in soon that should be on next month. 5 will be a generalized breakdown of the type of spending that we're doing countywide. And then 6 through 9 are your departmental spendings through month 4. Our current banking balances on hand, truest operating is $10,460,281.30. First Horizon, $764,614.86. And the Capital Management Trust, $54,803,630.17.
Thank you. I looked at the breakdown today. I've already commented and commended you on that. It's pretty self-explanatory, and thank you for all the hard work you've done with that.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Just.
Started.
All right, next on the agenda is Cross Creek Tax Appeal Hearing. It's a quasi judicial hearing, and I'll turn it over to Deputy Attorney Howard Jones to be, transparency to the public to tell you what's going on.
Thank you, Chairman. The property owner has appealed the tax department's valuation on two separate parcels, parcel ending in 601 and the parcel ending in 602. Since the Board of ENR is no longer in session, the county commissioners are sitting in lieu of that board to hear this appeal, which is a quasi judicial hearing, as you noted, Chairman. The taxpayer has the burden to show two things. First, that the method of appraising the property was arbitrary or illegal. In other words, that the tax department got it wrong and by using the wrong methodology. The second is that as a result of that, there was a substantial difference in the value of the property assessed. So two things. They did it wrong, and it made a substantial difference to the detriment of the appellant. In North Carolina, we have a presumption that the assessor acted in good faith and that the assessments are correct. For this quasi-judicial hearing, the appellant must present competent material and substantial evidence and has the burden of convincing this board that the tax assessor was wrong by the greater weight of the evidence, 51%. A couple things, very briefly, just looking over the appeal document that was submitted by the appellant, just to correct it, this board will find facts, but as far as the law, there's a couple points that need to be mentioned about some of the statements that are made therein. First of all, the commandment by the state, and as you can see in your packet, there is a summary and instructions from the Department of Revenue to the Board of ENR, which this board should use. And one of the cardinal rules is that the value of the property should not be based on the percentage increase from year to year or appraisal period to appraisal period, or from a prior, or the amount of taxes from a prior year or appraisal period. Two, the amount of the appraised value should not be based on the economic ability of the owner to pay the anticipated tax. Three, the amount of the appraisal should not be based upon personal sympathies toward an Indian individual. This body may also, as a matter of law, take judicial notice of the website of the owner online, which the tax department has supplied to the board. After the board, since the appellant is not here, the board will need to familiarize itself, at least read and consider the statement that was provided by the appellant to the board and is in your packet. We would then hear from the tax department to explain their position on this matter. Once the hearing is finished and the board has taken evidence, then there should be either a motion for each parcel done separately, a motion to either uphold the assessed value by the tax assessor's office, or a motion to decrease the value, and this board would need to set the amount. Once that is done, tax department will prepare an order for the chairman reflecting that and send that out within 10 days. Are there any questions?
Since this is a quasi judicial hearing, I would like to ask Assistant County Manager Sandy Snow to swear Penny and Tracy in.
Left hand on the Bible, raise your right. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so?
I do.
Good evening, Penny. Good evening, Tracy. How y'all doing tonight?
Good, how are y'all?
Good, good. I I guess we just get down to it and you tell us the assessment and how you came to that. And the background. Loud. We know you can speak loud. There you go.
Okay, so the assessment for the parcel number 5021063839856001 is $961,380. And Tracy is going to explain one at a time, if that's okay.
Okay, this was, before the revaluation, the value was 716,740, and we went up to 961,380. This parcel
Say that again, if you would, that number.
okay, before the reappraisal, it was $716,740. And after the reevaluation, it was $961,380. This parcel consists of the actual country club itself, all the asphalt paving, the pavilion out back, the bathhouse and the pool, chain link fence, and the tennis court. The way we came up with this value was during the reevaluation, the base rate of the building went from $90 a square foot to $101 a square foot was the increase through sales and comparables. So we did that. And then for each outbuilding line, which was in our schedule of values, we went up as, for instance, the asphalt paving before the reval was 70 cents a square foot, went up to $2.75 a square foot. The canopy was $20 a square foot. We went up to $55 a square foot. The bathhouse was $26 a square foot, went up to $37 a square foot. The pool was $27 a square foot. We went up to $45 a square foot. Chain link fence went from $8.75 a square foot to $15 a square foot. And the tennis court, we had it at $2.50 a square foot, went up to $7 a square foot. And that was the changes we made on this. And the land, we made no change on the land itself for this 5.9 acres. It stayed the same. So that's how we came to this value. So basically all the rates went up due to revaluation because the value, the 2024 value was actually still using 2021 rates.
Could you tell us why you're still using 21 rate?
Well, that was before the revaluation. Once the revaluation kicked in 25, we went to the new ones, but we have to use them for the 4-year cycle.
They don't change.
They don't change unless, the only way we change the value is if they get a permit and they change something on the property, then we can go out and make a change. But if nothing's touched, the value's not changed for 4 years. So that's how we came to the value of the 601, which once again is the country club itself, the pool and everything, the pavilion behind it and all the paving, fences, and tennis court.
So then the next parcel is 5021063839856002.
Excuse me, Penny, if you could you just recite the history
I
in
will.
regard to what you provided to the board, how we got to what you used to assess the value?
Okay, so Tracy, yeah.
Okay, July 24th of 2024, the tax department mailed all golf courses in Surry County questionnaires requesting information for the 2025 reappraisal. No response was received from Cross Creek. Then August 1st of 2024, the tax department researched information from several comparable golf courses, including North Carolina and Virginia, to derive the standards for golf course greens in our schedule of values, which is listed in your packet.
And then August 21st, 22nd, 28th, 29th of 2024, a notice was listed in the Mount Airy News and the Elkin Tribune, including the submission of the proposed schedules, standards, schedule of value, and our use value manuals and rules to the Board of County Commissioners that were going to be listed September 3rd of 2024. The advertisement included the public hearing date, location on October 7th of 2024 of the proposed schedule, standards, and rules. They were made available for the public inspection on the county website and in the tax department beginning September 3rd, 2024, until they were adopted by the Surry County Board of Commissioners. The public hearing was held October 7th of 2024 for the proposed schedule, standards, and rules, and no objections. November 4th, 2024, the Board of County Commissioners adopted the 2025 Schedule of Appraisal and Use Value Manuals. November 6th, 7th, 13th, 14th, 20th, 21st, 27th, 28th, 2024, the notice to all Surry County taxpayers, advertisement in the Mount Airy News and the Elkin Tribune included the information of the 2025 Schedule of Value, Use Value Manual had been approved by the Board of County Commissioners, and anyone may appeal the manuals. Citizens have a right to file objections, and no objections were filed.
February 7th, 2025, the 2025 notice of value letters were mailed to the Cross Creek Country Club property address.
July the 10th, 2025 tax bills were mailed to the property of Cross Creek Country Club, or CCB LLC address. July 22nd, 2025, the taxpayer, Ms. Waters, General Manager of CCB LLC, emailed the tax department stating concerns about her tax bill from 2024 and 2025.
And on July 24th of 2025, we set up an in-person meeting with Ms. Waters, myself, and Penny. We explained the appeal deadline had passed, which was 30 days from the notice of value mailing. Ms. Waters alleged that there were mail delivery issues at the Mount Airy Post Office and asserted discrepancies in the valuation compared to 2024. Ms. Waters alleged that the sprinklers were manual. The staff would have to drag out the sprinkler system to run it. Ms. Waters alleged the golf course is not a championship golf course. The website information is for marketing purposes only. Ms. Waters expressed dissatisfaction with valuation and classification of the course. Advised her next step per NCGS 105-325, review by the Board of County Commissioners, since the Board of Equalization and Review had adjourned from taking new appeals. August 7th, 2025, a site visit was conducted by myself and Adam Duncan. We hand-delivered notice of value for the parcels. We verified structure measurements were accurate, and we took pictures of the golf course greens and buildings. August 25th, 2025, Ms. Waters filled out the appeal portion of the notice of value with the amount of value she felt correct. October 13th, 2025, a field appraiser working in that area took pictures of automatic sprinklers in operation in the ground without hoses attached, and we have pictures of that.
So October 20th of 2025, the Finance Committee discussed and recommended that CCB LLC be heard by the Board of County Commissioners since the Board of Equalization and Review had adjourned from taking new appeals.
In the Schedule of Value Manual for golf courses, there are 5 classifications. Each classification includes normal grading, sprinkler systems, service roads, cart paths, and architectural fees. And we show that 2 pages ahead of Schedule of Value golf greens. You have that in there, the criteria. This shows the criteria that Cross Creek Country Club has. This type course, we could value it for anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000 per hole. We chose $125,000, right in the middle. They have 153 acres on the property, and this classification says 160 to 200, but remember, that's just typical. It don't have to meet everything. They have 6,800 yards long is the course, and that fits between the 6,701 to 7,000. They have the bunker greens and fairways, large trees, greens and fairways, a driving range. They have the name architect who designed the course, automatic sprinklers, and paved cart paths. We feel that they met the Class 1 championship typical features. Now, they were 7 acres below, so that's why we made a decision to drop 25,000 per hole of the 18 holes because of that 7 acres that they were short, but it better met this classification than it did classification 2. And that's how we came to this decision.
If I could just ask you very briefly, that schedule of values that you referenced that you provided to the Board of County Commissioners in the packet is the schedule of values that this Board of County Commissioners adopted and that was published in the newspaper, and there was no objections to, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And arriving at that schedule of values, you surveyed several types of golf courses in North Carolina and Virginia, correct?
Yes, sir.
You rejected, in fact, several schedules of value that placed much higher amounts on championship courses, correct?
Correct.
Could you give me an example, please?
Yes, sir. I have them right here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, the one that was close, but not the Trump National Golf Course in Iredell County, valued 200,000 a hole. Roaring Gap Golf Club in Allegheny was 125, 127. And there's courses in Yadkin County, they start at 155 per hole in Yadkin County for comparables. Wilkes County is also 125,000 per hole for the same course. So I went around to different courses, and I did the Iredell Club, the 500 Club in Iredell County was 125,000 per hole, just like we put. And Statesville Country Club of Iredell County was 100,000 per hole, but they were not near the same as the quality as Cross Creek. But this is just some of those that I used.
You didn't use the Trump.
No, I didn't use the Trump at
Yeah.
200,000 because we're not there. But I did look at a lot of golf courses. Come to this.
Yeah, and also, with regard to the championship designation, is that a designation that the appellant carries on its website?
Yes, sir, and it's in the packet. It's right on their website saying it is a championship course.
You downloaded that and printed that?
Yes, sir, it's in the packet.
And what did the appellant tell you to dispute that, what was on their website?
That it was only used for marketing purposes.
Therefore, that it was false and that they were saying that to the public, correct?
Yes.
Correct. And we were also told that it was not a private club, and also on their website, it says Premier Private Membership Club on the website.
So if you could now, if you could take the board through the actual numbers that you used to, the different numbers that you used to arrive at the total appraised value of 2.760390.
Yeah, I'd like to break down the second parcel as well in the specifics like we did the first.
Absolutely. All right, the second parcel, the 2024 value for the total parcel was $501,740. After the revaluation, it was $2,760,390.
Say that again, please, for the first and second.
The first one, $501,740.
And this is in a table that you have in the packet, correct?
Yes,
And that is right after the appellant's statement signed by Shannon Waters, right? That's the next page. And that has colored tabs on it, correct?
we'll have to get to that. Let's see.
I'm not sure where it's at in the book. I have it right past the schedule of values.
Is this the document?
Yes,
Hers.
that's what she sent.
Okay.
So the valuation for the 4 years prior to 2024 up through 2020 would have been 501,740, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And to what do you attribute the 2.2 million
Okay, I'll start
escalation?
with first off, I'll tell you the land itself that was not used for the course stayed the
Okay.
same. A breakdown for the increase, there's a shed on the building, went from $4 a square foot to $6.50 a square foot. Shop building went from $8 a square foot to $11.50 a square foot. Two storage buildings each went from $10 a square foot to $17.50. And then the golf greens were not being charged from 2016 until this revaluation, and they were added back on at 125,000 per hole. They were removed in 2016 by the Board of Equalization because business was very slow at that time in 2016, and we put them back on this year.
Is that a sufficient reason to remove tax value?
What happened was, an appeal came through at the Board of Equalization and Review, and when the value was, and it was approved through the Board of Equalization and Review, and when they took the value off to get the value down to where they needed it to be, they had to take the greens off to get to that value instead of using a code back then to reduce it down instead of just taking.
And that was a legal interpretation by the Surry County Board of Equalization and Review, is that correct?
Well, what do you mean illegal?
Well, I mean, it's under the policies, procedures, and the documents that you have laid out here that we must use in determining criteria for valuation. I'm assuming that those same principles were applicable to whatever was done in 2016 at the Board of Equalization Review. Is that correct? Or is that understandable?
I think that's beyond the scope of this hearing. I understand the commissioner's question. Penny, what position did you hold with the tax?
I was the assistant tax administrator, and what happened, the Board of Equalization and Review reduced the value during an appeal. And at that time, the people that took care of that handled it differently and to get to that value that the board approved. And that, in a sense, it should have been handled differently.
So it was a subjective determination.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
And just to clarify, when you went back in to do your reappraisal, what you followed this time was the schedule of values, the current schedule.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Mandated by law
yes,
to be passed by this board, correct?
yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So you did not consider the prior appraised value,
No.
correct?
No,
You are not allowed by law. You must look at the current schedule of values, correct?
yes,
And derive current market value according to those values, correct?
yes.
And again, maybe, just curious, why was it not reevaluated in 2020?
2021.
Or this was from the 216, the 501,740?
Honestly, I was unaware that it was done like this. And
So we just missed that one, maybe?
it was missed.
Missed.
It was missed.
So there was a pretty substantial tax break for
Yes,
this piece
sir.
of real estate
Yes, sir.
based on
And it can be
values.
discovered. It can
Yeah.
be discovered.
Exactly, I understand. What is the, and our current tax rate is, refresh my memory, 51 point what? 51.3 per $100
Yes, sir.
of valuation,
Yes, sir.
of value. Okay. Thank you.
And I'll just ask both of you. Tracy, first, have you had training on conducting appraisals?
Yes, sir.
How many experience?
9 years, going on 10.
Same questions to you, Penny?
Oh, I have been the assessor since,
Microphone, Penny.
oh, I'm sorry. I've been the assessor since 2017. And I'm sorry, what was the last question?
Training on how to conduct appraisals.
Yes,
Or experience in conducting, correct?
yes.
you have an opinion as to the total value of this property, of market value on the date this property was appraised?
Yes.
Based on your training and expertise, what is that opinion as to the assessed value of this parcel on the date that it was appraised?
For the parcel for 601 is 961,380. And the parcel of 602 is 2,760,390.
Do you have any doubt about that?
No, sir.
Tracy, same question.
No, sir, no doubt.
And what is your opinion as to value as to 601?
601, $961,380, and 602, $2,760,390.
And just once more for the record, you do have the right to try to go back and discover additional taxes on this, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And you have not done that, have you?
No, not at this time.
Are there any more questions for any of your
Does he have a microphone or is he talking into that microphone? Do you have your own microphone there?
I do. Can you?
Okay, I was just,
No, I'm just having issues. Are there any more questions for Tracy or for Penny?
so you're talking about a tax bill on $2.7 million and some change of 14,160, give or take. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. The value is 2.7 million and taxes are $14,160. Yes, sir.
14,160.
Yes, sir.
And the taxes on the previous one that was 961,000.
$4,931.88.
Are we allowed to look at comps that weren't quoted by these folks here? What I'm getting at is I'm just curious about the other golf courses in Surry County. I would be
You are more than entitled to ask any question.
I would be curious to know what the valuations are for the other, I don't know how many golf, what do we have? 2 or 3?
He's ready for you.
The comparables to Cross Creek are Pilot Knob Park and Pilot Mountain. We have a total value, they have 160 acres. We have a total value of $3,129,660. They have more buildings involved, but their greens are taxed at $100,000 each because basically it's nice, but not Cross Creek level. They fell to level 2.
This is Cedar Brook.
No, this is Pilot Knob Park. It's what we have for them. And then Cedar Brook in Elkin is 219 acres. We have $2,453,720 on that value. And that is just the one.
Say that again. I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
I'm slow.
Okay, this is just for a shed and the golf green at Cedar Brook. $2,453,720. And then they have a separate parcel with the actual building on it, the clubhouse, and I don't have that with me, the clubhouse, but this is just for the greens anyway. But we also have 100,000 on the greens for Cedar Brook because once again, it's nice, but it's not Cross Creek level. So Cedar Brook, Pilot Knob are 100,000. They fall to the lower end of the first class, if you look on that, or the upper end of the second. But they're not on the same level as.
And this is comparing apples to apples, which omits the clubhouse. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, with Cross Creek, the one with the greens doesn't have a clubhouse on it either. So.
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
the Cedar Brook.
2.77 million, that's the golf course.
Yes.
And the comparable figure with Cedar Brook would be 2.453. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Was there another golf course? Is there one up there in Mount Airy on the upper end?
There's Mount Airy Country Club, but it's not in the same class.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about, I don't even know what end you hold on a golf club.
And then there's also White Pines Country Club, which is also
Yeah.
not in the same class.
Yeah, I'd probably hit myself in the head with it or something if I tried it. Or somebody else would hit me, yeah.
Have any other questions for Penny or Tracy?
Well, it's an odd situation. The fact that they got a reprieve by county's mistake, even though it's discoverable, that would be a little bit more of a shocker from the 216 evaluation, then getting skipped for 4-year cycle and then getting reevaluated 4 years later. There's a lot of things happens in 8 years.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
We did send out questionnaires. Let's see. In July of 2024, when we were working on the revow, and we could not get any response from them, trying to get information from them, you know, to get exact information to hopefully help with the sticker shock. But
So Penny, just to interrupt, Commissioner, your request for information was so that you could conduct an income value, correct?
yes,
And that is one of the values that you can blend different approaches.
right,
correct?
right.
But you can't do that
Without.
unless the golf course turns over its information to you.
That's correct.
You have to know what the income is, correct?
Correct.
And more importantly, what the income could be, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that was a good enough reason to make a decision here tonight. I'm just saying that added to the sticker shock. But it is what it is, just like it's still discoverable to go back. And I'll ask a question about that. Who makes that determination? You and you only as tax administrator?
Yes.
Based on based on a lot of reasons you do or do not do those discoverables in situations like this?
I try to be fair and equitable. We normally treat everyone the same. And if I treat everybody fair and equitable, then I would be discovering Cross Creek.
What does that, and for the public, what does that mean? If you discover, what does that mean?
That means that we have missed something, or we have,
Found out the customers missed, the owners missed something.
yes,
Making it actually 9 years, because wasn't there a year that we took off a reevaluation?
we missed,
It would have been 9 years because we did a 1-year jump a few years ago to 5, yes.
Yeah.
and we, from the last revow to here.
So that issue of discoverability, though, is not an issue for tonight. correct?
No, it is not for tonight.
Consideration for or for you this evening, correct?
No.
No, I was just curious as to the methodology we used in a case like this. And this is an unusual case. I mean, you know, there was a long time span there and it did cause a little sticker shock, but I'm not making any other suggestion. I'm just pointing out, or clarifying how do you mitigate something like that? And you say by discovery, if you choose to do that.
Yes, sir.
And I know we're not supposed to use prior values. That's not a consideration here, is that? I think I heard you say that. That's true.
It's really not.
Right, okay. I did want to get one clarification, though. Did I hear you say that the petitioner had questioned the valuation of the 2024 tax valuation? Was that
Miss
a mistake?
Waters questioned the sticker shock, the difference.
The difference? Okay.
Yes, but it was only because of 2021 assessment versus the 2025 assessments, all it was, because there wasn't any change from 2021 value versus.
Yeah, you'd have had to go back to 2016 to get.
Yes, sir.
Right, yeah. And that's why we do a 4-year thing here, is to keep that sticker shock at as low a level as possible.
Any other questions?
Does the tax administrator and its assessors stand by your evaluation currently and without question, based on all criteria that you know and believe you're supposed to use to formulate an evaluation, you stand by this decision solidly? That's my question. Do you stand by this decision without question?
We do.
Yes, sir.
We have broke down everything. We have looked at everything. We discussed it thoroughly. I feel confident in this value. Yes, sir.
Okay. Another question is, maybe this is not pertinent before we make a decision here, but just while we're on a roll here, what is the recourse or the next option for the property owner if they are not happy with any action that the county takes to change this? What would be the next appeal level, Mr. Attorney?
That would be appeal to the state level for de novo review, correct, Penny?
Yes, sir. They'll go to the Property Tax Commission.
But this time they will have to follow the time periods where they will be barred. They will get service of this board's decision. And if this board believes that the value is overvalued and reduces it, and they don't feel it's reduced enough, they can appeal that. Or if this board chooses to uphold the valuation of the assessor and the appellant disagrees with that, they can appeal that. They will have a strict time period to follow to go to Raleigh on that, which they did not follow.
Understood.
But they do have a remedy.
But because the Board of Equalization and Review is not calendaring anything else for this year, the next step would be to the state, and it would be out of the county's discretion to make that decision. If a decision is not made tonight to change this, the next course for the landowner would be at a state level.
Yes, if this board upholds the assessment, then it would be to appeal to Raleigh.
I understand.
Any more questions? Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Tracy. All right, now I would like to ask if there's any representatives here from Cross Creek that would like to speak on this issue. We'll now proceed to close the quasi judicial hearing. And I would ask that on parcel 601, do I have a motion to uphold the assessed value or not to uphold the assessed value assessed by the tax administrator?
I'll make a motion based on all the hearing comments tonight and the opinion of the tax administrator and its assessors that we uphold the assessor's evaluation.
Of $961,380 as the assessed value.
Yes.
Motion by Commissioner Tucker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Goins. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, is there a motion to uphold the assessed value or turn down the assessed value of parcel number 602?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we uphold the value at $2,760,390 for parcel 602. Yes, that's my motion, sir.
Motion by Commissioner Harris. I'll second that one. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Just for the public,
Thank you.
the tax assessor's office will prepare an order for signature by Chairman Mary and confirm the following two motions. It will then be served in 10 days on the appellant.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is Darren Lewis, City of Mount Airy, Grandstone Conference Center. Welcome.
Thank y'all for having us tonight. Of course, got Jenny Smith with the Tourism Development Authority with us as well. Excited to be here tonight to share just a little bit of information on the Grandstone Conference Center. First, I want to thank this board for your participation in phase 2 of the Spencer's redevelopment project with your financial support of $1.5 million that helped develop or is in the process of helping develop the Balladeer hotel site. Excited to share that they're still on go to be at financial completion by the end of this year, with hopes of having heads and beds early March or April at the latest. The inside of the facility is really coming along, and of course the outside now as well, with the windows in and a lot of other work, but the inside is pretty amazing. So we're excited to share about that, but tonight we want to talk about phase 3, which is the Grandstone Conference Center. This is, of course, going to be a city-owned building, 18,600 square foot state-of-the-art facility with the main focus to hold conferences, events, celebrations, with a ballroom, large ballroom of 320 that would seat 320 banquet-style seating, or up to 500 auditorium-style seating, along with an additional breakout room and a large conference room as well. We feel like this is going to be the best to serve the needs of the Tourism Development Authority. And of course, tonight we're here to share a little bit more of the excitement and a little bit about the project. Of course, the total investment of the Grandstone, including site work, engineering, branding, totaled $16.7 million. All but $521,905 has been secured with state allocated dollars. The City of Mount Airy is requesting tonight for your support in the amount of $260,952.50 to cover the local share that's needed to complete this project. I think this is going to be an amazing project for Mount Airy and Surry County and the state of North Carolina. As stated in the memo and some of the information that you guys received, we had, of course, with the whole Spencer's Mill redevelopment project, including all 3 phases, is $83 million is the projected cost for that now. When we took on the hotel project jointly between the 2 groups with your contribution of $1.5 million at that time, the estimated cost of the hotel was going to be $15 million. Now that number has ballooned to $35 million, along with now the the Barrel building for the restaurant is estimated to be at $7.5 million. So that original $15 million investment is over $42 million now. A lot of that is inflation. A lot of that, when we secured these funds for the City of Mount Airy and the Tourism Development Authority, inflation was a lot lower at that time. But we're excited where we're at. There was lots of meetings scheduled throughout with multiple groups to come to the final size of the facility of the 18,000 square foot. We made some changes to the site plan, reduced the size of the building some, looked at many different options. We took out the roundabout. We removed access off of South Street at this time. We removed the potential Greenway connector access to the downtown area and tried to focus on the facility itself. And with that, looking at a later phase to take care of some of the site amenities. But with all that being said, on November the 12th, we had the groundbreaking ceremony, phenomenal event, the excitement that was there, our elected officials with Representative Hall, Senator Settle, and of course, Chief Deputy Kenny Flowers that was in attendance, said a lot. NC Commerce was there in attendance. A couple of the comments that was made, this is one of my proudest days I've ever had since I've been in legislature. The development is good for North Carolina as a whole due to the tourists who have drawn to Mayberry as a result. Another comment that was made by one of our speakers was this type of project can transform a community. So with that being said, Mount Airy is excited about this downtown development. It's been a phenomenal year for economic development in Mount Airy and Surry County with all the different projects. Big thanks to Blake Moyer with a lot of what he and his staff has done with this. And of course, Mount Airy Downtown Inc. And of course, the Tourism Development Authority with a lot of their economic development efforts as well. But now I would love for Jenny to wow you guys on a little bit with some of the renderings that we have on the Grandstone Conference Center.
And I believe everyone knows me, but I'm Jenny Smith. I am the Sales and Marketing Manager for the Mount Airy TDA, and I will actually be overseeing the Grandstone Conference Center. So my job will be to sell this out and keep it booked. And I feel very confident that we can do that. Being in Mount Airy and Surry County, I'm very passionate about our town and our county and tourism. So I want to see this succeed for sure. I'm going to show you some of the renderings of the building itself. So this is the east entrance. This will be facing the back of, well, kind of the back of the hotel. So this will be facing towards Main Street. As you can see, it has a modern look to it, but it doesn't look like just a plain building. I mean, it is very beautiful. They've really thought out everything. If you'll go to the next one, this is from the, I guess it would be the side from, if you're coming from the hotel, if you're walking from the hotel, that is that side. You want to go to the next one. And this is that opposite side, so this will be facing Franklin Street. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes, so this, when you're driving down Franklin Street, this is what you will see. And then to the next, this will be the back. So we knew that the front of the building, it needed to be something that was eye-catching, but a lot of the parking and the attendees to these conferences are going to be parked in the back. The parking lot will be in the back of the building. So this is the back entrance, but I believe it still is just as eye-catching. So it has a really nice outdoor space, and then a pretty grand entrance, if you will, into the pre-function space. We're gonna go to the next one. This is the pre-function space. This is where, when you walk into the front doors, this is what that's gonna look like. I know it's hard to tell in the rendering here, but those lights are actually, it's a mountain range to look like the Blue Ridge Mountains.
That was my touch on all this, by the way.
Darren had no input on the interior. If you want to go to the next, this is going to be the pre-function space coming from the parking lot, so that back entrance, which still has a lot of room. And then off to the sides that you see there are your breakout rooms and meeting spaces. All right, and if you want to go to the next, this is going to be the actual conference hall. As Darren mentioned, banquet seating, we're looking at about 320 or 500 assembly. Of course, this space can actually be broken up into 3, so we can break this up as needed and have multiple conferences going on or multiple breakout rooms. But this will be the biggest portion of the conference center. And then this just will show you the overall footprint with that bottom street being Franklin Street. You can see the grandstone right behind that is the parking lot. Where it says future development, we have hopes for a possible future hotel. And then up to the front, you can see up to the top right, that is where the Balladeer is. So we know that Mount Airy and Surry County, as it is, we do really well with leisure travel, leisure tourism. But one thing that we are lacking is these meeting and conferences. We have had to turn down a lot of those. Jessica has kept a list of all of those, and that is another way that we arrived at the 320 capacity. The number of requests that we got, we put those together based on how many they were looking for, and this is where we kind of thought our bread and butter is. Of course, a larger space would be grand, but in reality, it's going to be hard to keep one that's holds 500 banquet style in our small town. But we have an advantage because we are in a walkable community. A lot of these conference centers that I've been to, they're surrounded by hotels, but there's not a whole lot that you can walk to from there. So being in the downtown is very unique. We already have the Mayberry hook, and that I think will attract people. This also with conferences, this is going to be a lot of during the week. That's going to get us a lot of overnight stays during the week and in our shoulder seasons. So that is something that we hear a lot is, these off seasons, it's hard and during the week, but the Grandstone Conference Center will definitely help with that, which will lead to more occupancy tax, which is going to also lead to an increase in restaurants, wineries, breweries, and retail sales, local tax revenue, and demand for local services like caterers, AV, decor, transportation. We're already looking at those and who we can partner with to do that. We have found in our research that meeting attendees usually stay longer and spend more than our regular day trip visitors. And the Grandstone will bring in visitors who are booking multiple nights. A lot of them may travel with spouses and families, and even though their conference is during the week, they may extend that stay into the weekend, which will directly support our lodging partners and enhance that visitor spending across the county. Beyond tourism, the Grandstone will serve local businesses that need training space or space to host trade shows that you're already hosting in other cities or sites. It'll also serve for nonprofits hosting fundraisers, schools and regional partners, weddings, reunions, social events. And it's going to become a central, larger gathering place that we currently lack. So we're very excited about that. And of course, with this Grandstone Conference Center and all of the development that is happening at this Spencer's property, we know that this will serve as a catalyst for more downtown redevelopment, hotel expansion, new restaurants and retail openings, infrastructure improvements, which we're already in the process of, and vibrant arts and entertainment and cultural programming. So we're very, very excited for the Grandstone, and we hope that the county will support this.
Told you she was going to wow you and bring that table. And the city of Mount Airy, I could not have picked a better group to lead this effort with the Tourism Development Authority with Jenny, Jessica, and Jamie, the three J's, to lead this effort. So we're excited about it and would love to have your support and be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, we have any questions for Aaron or Jenny?
There were a lot of numbers in that. There's a lot of numbers in this. Most of the numbers in this are more constricted to phase 1 and phase 2. Is there a pro forma for how many conventions you have to have in a month to turn a profit? And how long do you think it'll take before that actually happens?
Yes, we have been working on a pro forma, and we are expecting to break even for the first 2 years. Of course, with this being a conference center that we are not going to have a debt service on, that we're at a huge advantage. So we do have that. We have been working on that. We've had that put together, and that is our expectation.
Who's doing the pro forma?
The City of Mount Airy, the Tourism Development Authority staff, and the board of the Tourism Development Authority have come up with that pro forma for that.
So after 3 years, we don't break even, who pays for it?
We know that this facility, if it does not, that would be a joint effort between the Tourism Development Authority and the City of Mount Airy that would have to cover that. A lot of these facilities, like conference centers, sometimes do not, break even, just like a lot of your event centers, athletic complexes, and where communities benefit from is the heads and beds and the sales tax and the tourism tax. So,
And I'm kind of unique here.
mhm.
I live in the city. I pay the taxes. I understand the tax burden that our citizens have.
Yes.
We pay county, we pay city, and if you live in a school district, you pay a city school tax, and we're all aware of that. And for me, I represent that 11,000 people.
Mhm.
And I've heard concerns from citizens. You know, we want this to do well. But I think we need to have a watchful eye. I think taxpayers have a watchful eye as to what happens if this thing doesn't break even, if it doesn't make money. And that's why I ask you, who's doing the pro forma? Should we get somebody professional to do this, to take a bird's eye view at it? Because I think it's been studied. I mean, I think you go on the internet and pull it up, and you get a mixed bag on, is it subsidized by the taxpayer, or does it make money? And that's a concern.
Yes.
That's a concern to our taxpayers.
Absolutely.
I hear it.
Absolutely. I do too.
And so that's something that I worry about is I do not want to see the citizens of Mount Airy have to subsidize a conference center. I want it to do well, but I think it might pay somebody to do a performer to say, this is what it would take. This is what it would take. How much per week that you make, at least it breaks even or it profits some. But I worry about that a little bit.
And with that pro forma that we have done in-house, we did do lots of research. Jessica and her staff reached in a broad spectrum across the state of North Carolina, got similar comparisons, larger comparisons, looked at the number of conferences that they were hosting, the size that they were at, and we compiled that into a pro forma that we felt was good for Mount Airy, and we thought was a good fit. And we feel like those numbers are conservative. And through the first couple of years, until Mount Airy becomes rebranded as a conference or event destination, because that will take some work. And again, with their staff, I have no doubt that it's going to be great.
I want to go back to the map for a second of, you stated that you did away with the access road and the walkability down to the greenway. Has there been a traffic study done about the increased traffic? We've spent a lot of money in Mount Airy over the past 12 years to increase and enhance the livability of that area. If I lived in one of those lofts and I wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning and there's 18-wheeler sitting outside my window, I'm probably not going to be very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention those residents that live along Franklin Street. Has there a traffic study been done?
Internally, we did a traffic study. We worked with the police department, and the numbers that this conference center is going to host are a small comparison to what it used to be when Cross Creek and Spencer's was there. So we feel like that this area will be able to easily accommodate that.
I just want to say, as a commissioner, thank you for coming. And obviously, I live on the other end of the county. I grew up in Mount Airy somewhat, but I'm pretty impressed with your plan and how you put it together. It looks good, and I do think it is viable, and I think it's probably a good approach for that property. And I think, there is a certain level of uncertainty about anything. But I was here when the barter project was being pitched very, very heavily. And in many different forms, in many different ways. And I think it is very fortuitous that that didn't come to fruition. And I think I will say that I would give a special thanks to our legislators because you folks are starting out with zero debt. And that is just tremendous. I mean, it's almost unheard of. And that's a level of security that, I mean, you just can't find that level of security. I mean, you're already starting out with a tremendous location, a tremendous community. You're starting out with zero debt. You're starting out with, a a very nice plan. And so I personally would like to compliment you on all that.
Well, thank you. I do, there was numerous hours and time put in, through this with multiple agencies. Again, the City of Mount Airy staff, myself, the Assistant City Manager, the Public Works Director, Engineer Mitch Williams, the Tourism Development, staff, and, their chairman has been through all this. Mount Airy Downtown Inc. has been a part of this. Charlie Vaughn, Mark Height, two local construction specialists that has helped us through this because, we usually don't do buildings with the city of Mount Airy. We're more of the infrastructure piece. So we brought in those specialty people to help us along the way with this. And we had a workplace architecture. We could not have picked a better architecture company, in my opinion, to lead us through this effort. They had a lot of experience, and the rendering they showed there, there had been some work with some other initial work with some different architectural companies that gave us many renderings to look at. Workplace on one, it was a consensus with the whole group. I
Yeah.
might even say it was unanimous, the whole group of what they selected there. That was their very first take at it. Now, as we started doing some value engineering, we had to adjust some of the roof lines and things of that nature to get closer to our allocated dollars that we had. But again, just really excited where we're at. Bloom Construction, the lead contractor on this, has lots of experience with that. There was a large team of individuals, the agencies I talked about, the city, the TDA, and MAD, that scored and selected the contractor to lead us in this effort. And so far, coming out of the gate, we're excited where it's at. And Commissioner Harris, I agree with you totally. I think we're the final product of all the hurdles that we went through on the front end with some of the barter ideas and some of that. I think what is the final product is going to be great. That's what it probably should have been from day one.
I want to say too that I agree with Commissioner Goins' comments about the tax situation. The tax burden in Surry County, as we've heard here tonight, continues to be a concern, for communities like Elkin, Mount Airy. You have the special school tax. It is concerning, especially when you couple that with inflation and the cost of living. And it becomes very onerous and burdensome to the citizens. And this board does not take that lightly, and we never, ever have. And what I will say to that, though, is I looked at the sales tax projections that you folks have in this packet. And, as a politician, well, particularly here in Surry County, well, myself, that's one thing that is exciting, sales tax, because it is the one thing that can save you from killing your citizens with property taxes. And the sales tax component, and even the 1/4-cent sales tax that we have here in Surry County that passed by the voters in 2008, when I came here in 2010, that brought in about $500,000. Well, maybe about 400,000. And now it brings in almost 4 million. So sales tax and the fact that we are in a geographic, very positive situation in the county with Elkin and Pilot and the geography, and being a trading center with our roads, the sales tax component is, particularly promising, I think, and maybe it will pan out. We don't ever know about these things, but that, I think, on down the road and for the immediate future, that could be something that would, if this is successful, and you don't know that it's going to be, that it could relieve some of the property tax pressures for the city of Mount Airy.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I'll follow up on the tax thing too. I think one of my big concerns, we're asking the citizens of Mount Airy basically a little out of each pot. I mean, they pay state taxes, city taxes, they pay county taxes. So we're asking them essentially to pay 3 times. And that is a concern. And, you know, I think this is a great concept. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great you get $15 million, but that's tax money. And that's paid for by the people of Surry County, just like it is the other 99 counties. I guess, and I wrote this down, is in a perfect world, and this thing takes off and sets fire, what's the benefit to my fellow citizens in Mount Airy? What will be the benefit in the end? Will it be lower taxes? Will it be lower property taxes? Or are we gonna take, we're gonna take the proceeds and do something else? I think when you look at you look at phase one, and phase one, you got, the public paying 3.2 million. Phase two is on the back, another, 1.5. That's quite a bit of money that the taxpayers have already taken on. So at some point down the road, and I said that this time, I mean, we struggled. We didn't want to raise taxes this time. We cut down as close as we could get. You and I have had that conversation.
Absolutely.
About, appropriating money, and, it's tough when you cut as low as you can go. We're at 51.3 cent. That's and I think I told you on the phone, if we had to buy an ambulance, well, guess what? Last meeting, we bought an ambulance, $412,000. We've got some money tied up in some other places. We certainly want to be a partner. But at the same time, we cut as much as we could cut. And you guys cut it a little bit. I appreciate that as a taxpayer. I think a lot of other people appreciate it as a taxpayer. But it still concerns me about the citizens of Mount Airy paying 3 times. And that's just where I'm at. I think this for me is a budget time ask. $260,000, $250,000 is a budget time ask. So that we can look at our finances and say, can we do this? Is this something that we feel like we can do? I don't know that we can answer that tonight, because we do have some money tied up we've exercised an option on hospice. That would be my concern as a board member, can we do this at this time? Or is it something that we can do over time in phases? But I think it's a budget. For me, it's a budget issue because of the amount of money it is.
I agree with what you say, but I've got one other question I'd like to ask. We talk about being partners, and we look at the taxes on this. It's a hard seat to sit in, that you sit in or that Chris sits in. But it's an even harder seat to sit in when you're the one that decides the taxes. You're taking money from your citizens to spend on the things that you think need to be given to the citizens. Is there anybody on that committee that's working on that pro forma or that has worked on this plan that is an elected official that determines taxes, whether it be a county or city elected official or commissioner?
Yes, Mayor Colley has been involved in that pro forma as well.
But he doesn't determine taxes.
Do what?
He doesn't.
No, but he's elected.
And the Mount Airy tax rate is 79 or
58.
58.
Last time 60, they dropped it to 58.
Yeah, so it cut from, I'm not 70, but they cut it from 60 to 58.
Yes.
I have one more question about that pro forma. You mentioned a lot of people that have had a part in this. Mount Airy Downtown, Mark Hyatt, Charlie Vaughn. Moving forward with that pro forma, will all those people be involved in that also?
In the pro forma, no. At this time, we'll move forward with the Tourism Development Authority, the City of Mount Airy, and other partners. The construction specialists have not been a part of the pro forma. They have been part of the development of the site to where it's at today.
Okay, thank you.
They're going to be involved, downtown ain't going to be involved in what's going forward in terms of the building.
Mount Airy Downtown Inc.? No, they are not. No, sir. No, the city will own the building. By all means, we will work and partner with them by being located in the downtown, in the MSD district. We'll work with them, but the Tourism Development Authority will be the ones actually operating the facility on a daily basis. The city will maintain the facility just like we do our other home buildings. And I'll just reiterate, you did have that pro forma there. I totally understand the cost burden. I am a city taxpayer myself, and I do get, field the calls just like you guys do on the taxes. But our return on investment, this is one of the quickest, largest return on investments that we have with the hotel piece. I think, and again,
I agree.
on that part. Now, again,
1.5 million,
we're,
I do not, when I look at the numbers
yes,
and, you know.
they're astounding.
7, 8, 9, 10 years, that 1.5 is back. And then it's all gravy after that. I get that. And so I don't have a problem with that. I mean, this board debated that. And we, you know, we were right, that was, once you ink the deal on the hotel, that was going to be a done deal. We realize that now. And so I don't have, you know, I don't have a lot of, I don't lose any sleep over that 1.5 because I believe we'll get that back pretty quick. I think it'll be a good return. I just, you know, my concern going forward is, you know, making sure that this thing's successful. Like I said, I feel a lot of questions. From my neighbors, and you know, I said, well, it's not in my wheelhouse. It is something to me, but it's not because I'm not on the city council. That's a decision y'all have to make. You know, how you spend taxpayer money is a decision that you guys have to make. But I do know people say that, well, how does it benefit me? How does this conference center benefit me as a citizen? And that's a legitimate question. It is. So, you know, I think going forward, I think maybe, you know, letting people know, educating people, saying this is what it can do for our city, and reassuring people that somewhere down the road, they're going to see a benefit. They really are going to see a benefit from it. I think that's important. Oh, 100%. I think with touching back on what Commissioner Harris said, you know, with the hotel itself, you know, that's Hotel One, the pro forma that you've received, as you see on the lower end of there, right there at South Street, that has already developed some interest in a potential second site. You know, those properties have just been purchased recently by a developer for that, and even additional conversations or inquiries from another developer about a second hotel already. And part of that is because of that Grandstone Conference Center. So I think that's where the citizens will benefit from this. I think all of this is going to spur future development, additional restaurants, hopefully a potential second hotel in this area, and a lot of the things that Jenny referenced tonight as well. So I think that's where the citizens will be able to take advantage of those benefits. And then they're going to have a state-of-art facility that they can take part in as well.
Question about room blocks. So is the Balladeer blocking rooms for the conference center? If not, who are your room block agreements with so you can sell it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we've also discussed with Lanice, they will be working with us for room blocks, but we already have relationships with all of the other hotels, along with the Balladeer, we're the Hampton Inn, and they have a shuttle that they can provide to bring those people from the Hampton Inn. But we have great relationships with all of those hotels that do room blocks for us now for groups that come in and for weddings and things like that. And we're already doing that.
And there's two additional hoteliers that's on the TDA board that I sit in as an ex officio member that's extremely excited about this and want to be a part of that for the hotel blocks as well.
As the town commissioners for the city of Mount Airy, have they taken action to pledge their half request for the 521,905, which would be the same amount you're asking us?
Yes, they have actually, to be able to move forward with the contracts that we have with the architecture group, they have committed for the 521 that would be needed to complete the whole project. We're here tonight asking for a cost share with the county.
So they've committed to the whole 521,905?
Yes, sir. With the intention of me coming and ask, but either way, if you say no,
we're moving forward. We're taking 521, but with that ask, just like we did for the Westwood Industrial Park site, we had to commit those funds to get that project completed. And then, of course, we came in for that ask from you guys on that as well.
Well, I think it's a great concept, as Commissioner Harris said, and I know there were a lot of excited people there Friday.
Yes, sir.
A lot of very influential people were there Friday, and people that makes the wheels go round and round.
Yes, sir.
So, it's makes a great start. The hotel, got to tour that again. It's coming along, and it's going to be really nice, and the walkability to everything, Market Street, uptown. Mount Airy's growing.
Yes, sir.
And we gotta stay with it. So I just commend all the work that you've done. And then I did hear one comment, you know, we've made a lot of mistakes along the way. And I think what did you mention, Eddie? The barter, yeah, that was one of the faults. But I too am glad that that didn't materialize.
Yes, sir.
And I think we're onto something here, and I know this wasn't a willy-nilly thing, so took a lot of good minds together to come up with all this and be able to use the property wisely. And I believe the next hotel, the second involvement with it, will greatly benefit also. And I believe there's 70 rooms in the Balladeer?
Yeah.
And a lot, it with the barrel building for the restaurant and all that will greatly attract a lot of folks with the downtown. And I believe it's going to be a good thing.
I agree. The restaurant is, well, I don't think we've mentioned the restaurant tonight much with that, but I know they have secured a restaurant for that facility. I think all of us will be extremely excited about. I don't think it's official out there to announce yet, but the word's out, but it's very, very good. I've eaten at the sister property. It's good.
And to be part of the Marriott property, they have to be open 7 days a week. So that's huge because a lot of the restaurants that we have now are closed on Sundays or Mondays. But this one will be open 7 days a week.
Jenny, you gonna let us have a commissioners meeting over there when you get this thing open?
We will have a nonprofit rate for you. No. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Depend on.
afraid of that. So.
Yes. She's ruthless. I'm a lot nicer.
That'll depend on tonight, the end of.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I'll let you know.
Fair enough, fair enough.
No pressure, huh?
No.
Thank you all for coming tonight.
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure we'll have a lot of discussion, and we'll be getting back with you shortly.
Thank all of you. Absolutely.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See, Commissioner Harris, Commissioner Chad came in, so we appreciate Chad Hutchins, Commissioner Manning showed up, and appreciate you coming in tonight. All right, next. I'd like to call up Blake Moyer and open up a public hearing on Project Poplar.
We said Chris started these proceedings.
Good evening.
But good evening, y'all.
He told me to go ahead and comment.
Sure. So we're in public hearing now?
We are.
Okay, cool. Appreciate you all having me tonight. Not an H last name you got to say to add to the group, so we got something different for you tonight, Commissioner. What you've got in front of you tonight is Project Poplar. You have 2 items for you to discuss, possibly approve, that are important to this project. Project Poplar is seeking to invest over $10 million into our community and potentially hire over 100 individuals. This is a manufacturing operation, an existing industry in our community. They are just in Surry County limits, not any town limits. They're not in Elkin, not in Mount Airy, not in Pilot, not in Dobson. What they're looking to do is partially new construction, partially renovation of their facility, which will add a new maintenance facility, new manufacturing square footage, machinery investment, and electrical infrastructure upgrades. So will allow for a lot of various efficiencies and increased capacity inside of the facility. You all were briefed on this item back in October, where we discussed, in addition to our normal county cash incentives that we consider for competitive projects, which this is, but just by the way, additionally, a grant opportunity with the state NC Commerce Building Reuse Grant. You all have seen these before in the past. We've had various ones come in front of you before in all different kinds of sectors, whether it's healthcare or manufacturing. This project, with its amount of hiring, is applicable to a $500,000 grant from NC Commerce, which is out of a $10 million project, getting $500,000 from the state to do renovation work. That's a pretty significant sum for them. And the cost to the Surry County taxpayer is $25,000 to do our 5%, you all's 5% share of that if you choose to approve that item. I'll make note of it since it was mentioned earlier. While this board, the ROI kind of comes from investment in machinery and buildings, our community and our small businesses take into how many people are hiring and what kind of wages they're taking in, the money they're spending in this community. So if you take 100 jobs, the average for this project's at $49,000 a year annual wages, almost $5 million a year in annual wages because of this project. Take that and how much that's going to reverberate in our community over mortgages, utility bills, grocery bills, spending in downtowns and out to eat, all these different things, buying cars. The ROI for the community is pretty significant when you have these average wages, which is above our current county average wage across the board. So Surry County Economic Development Partnership sincerely asks your approval for both of these items. One, because the project is competitive as required by North Carolina Economic Development Law, but two, because this is going to be a great return on investment for our community. Happy to answer any questions, and I'll also make note of if we were to potentially secure this project, we will just in a short year and a half get to half of the EDP's 5-year goal of 500 jobs and $200 million of investment. We're already over the $100 million mark. We're at 150 jobs secured. So with this, we'd get to 250 in a pretty short period of time. So it's an impressive amount of work that's been going on in Surry County over the last year and a half, 2 years. Appreciate your consideration and be happy to answer any questions you have.
Thank you, Blake. Any questions? Anyone else here to speak on Project Poplar? Will you read the resolution before I close the public hearing?
Probably during.
All right, I'll turn it over to you.
So there are two resolutions. One is for the cash grant, county cash grant, and the other is for the state building reuse grant. So the resolution for the cash grant is whereas there has been described by the Board of Commissioners of Surry County, North Carolina, a proposal for Surry County to provide certain incentives to Project Poplar in connection with the company's investment in Surry County. Whereas proposed incentives to company include the following appropriations and expenditures. A, county's appropriation will be a cash grant not to exceed $329,099.76, and that's payable over 8 years. And whereas the cash grant shall be reduced proportionately if company fails to achieve or maintain the benchmark minimum of investment. And whereas an incentive agreement including or addressing county and company and describing proposed incentives in detail shall be executed subject to approval and review of the county manager and county attorney. A fully executed copy of agreement will be filed in the county's records. And whereas a public hearing was held by the Board of Commissioners on November 17th, 2025, followed by a vote to approve the incentive package described herein. Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Surry County. 1, Surry County hereby undertakes to provide certain incentives to company in connection with its investment within Surry County as described in the agreement. County hereby finds and determines that such undertaking will increase the taxable property, employment, and business prospects of county. 2, that the chairman of the Surry County Board of Commissioners is authorized and directed to execute agreement in a form that has been approved by the county manager and county attorney and to deliver, hold on just a second, and to deliver the same to the appropriate counterparties for execution. And the clerk to the Board of Commissioners is hereby authorized and directed to affix the county seal to agreement and attest the same. Agreement shall be in a form substantially as described above, with such changes as may be approved by the chairman and the Board of Commissioners. The chairman's execution of agreement shall constitute conclusive evidence of his approval of any change. The agreement in the final form, however, must provide that the total amount to be expended by the county shall be the incentive grant not to exceed $329,099.76 payable over 8 years. The company's investment of $10,170,000 in new improvements to real and personal property values must be made by December 31st, 2027. County's incentives shall be reduced in proportion to any shortfall of company's minimum benchmark of investment. The county's payment of the incentive grants is to be paid to company only after company provides evidence that its new investment has been made as required and after assessed property taxes are timely paid by company to county. Company shall invoice county for an amount equal to 80% of taxes paid on the new real property and personal property values created based on new investment. Existing value on the property in question is not applicable to this incentive agreement, incentive grant. As of the date of this resolution, Surry County tax value assigned to company's property shall be assessed value of the company's real and personal property on January the 5th, 2026, according to the Office of the Surry County Tax Assessor. The company may request an incentive grant payment over 8 years, beginning in fiscal year 28 until the incentive grant is exhausted. If the total amount is exhausted prior to year 8, the cash grant will be deemed complete. The actions of county officers and officials in conformity with the purposes and intent of this resolution and in furtherance of the execution and delivery of agreement and the consummation of the transactions contemplated hereby are hereby ratified, approved, and confirmed. All of the board's proceedings or parts thereof in conflict with this resolution or to the extent of such conflict are hereby repealed. This resolution shall take effect immediately. This is the 17th day of November, 2025. That's the first resolution related to the cash grant from the county. The second resolution is related to the building reach grant through the state. That resolution is as follows. Whereas there has been described to the Board of Commissioners of Surry County, North Carolina, a proposal for Surry County to provide certain incentives to Project Poplar in connection with the company's new investment in an existing facility located in Surry County. And whereas county will act as applicant for a building reuse grant from the North Carolina Department of Commerce, and whereas a $500,000 grant proposed by the North Carolina Department of Commerce requires a local match from Surry County not to exceed $25,000, and whereas the private corporation proposes to expand its operations in Surry County to invest $10,170,000 and create approximately 100 new jobs within 3 years of the grant and maintain those new jobs for 6 consecutive months. And whereas verification of the new jobs shall occur after grant funds have been paid by county as part of the grant closeout process. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Surry County that the county provide a 5% cash match not to exceed $25,000 for a $500,000 North Carolina Department of Commerce building reuse grant. A source of funds for the $25,000 local match will be Surry County's general fund. Given adequate access, the local government will assess company records sufficient to verify employment numbers and report the results to the North Carolina Department of Commerce. Verification of the new job shall occur after grant funds have been paid by the county as part of the grant closeout process. Prior to receiving grant funding, companies shall cause a $500,000 irrevocable letter of credit to issue in favor of Surry County at a time and in a form prescribed by the county, together with an approved reimbursement agreement to prevent financial loss to Surry County as a result of its participation in the building reuse grant. This resolution shall take effect immediately, and all of the board proceedings or parts thereof in conflict with this resolution, or to the extent of such conflict, are hereby repealed. Adopted this the 17th day of November, 2025.
All right, any questions?
Mm-hmm.
That second resolution, they're only using 79 jobs in the actual application to Commerce because they're planning to do 100, but they only need to put in 79 to get the max grant award. So further kind of ensures that they're going to get to that marker anyway. So 79 is the amount they're using on the application.
Okay.
All right, on the first resolution. Okay, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Okay, on the first resolution, the cash grant resolution, to adopt that resolution and approve the cash grant. Do I have a motion?
Motion, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Goins. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hyatt. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next is the building reuse grant resolution and vote for the building reuse grant. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hyatt. Any discussion?
I'll say that typically the county doesn't participate in grants with the Department of Commerce of North Carolina that is tied to a number of jobs. However, in this case, the thing that makes it palatable for me is that the company shall cause a $500,000 letter of credit to be issued in favor of the county in the event things does not materialize. So that satisfies me, and I am good to go.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. All right, next, boards and committees.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have a memo, as you do each month, from Andrew related to the various boards and committees that you all appoint individuals to. There are three specific ones on here. The Animal Control Committee has multiple vacancies. I know you've talked about that for some time now. May meet as needed. Next is the Board of Equalization and Review. Those are 2-year terms. There's a vacancy, and that's in the Dobson Township area. And finally, for the first time, you're receiving applications that we've received for the newly created Fire Commission. There are multiple vacancies. This is a combination of active fire service members and citizens of the service district, and those have been included for your review. So I'll turn that back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, do we have anyone that is available to serve on any of these committees? Animal Control? Do you have any?
I have 2 nominations for the Animal Control. Both have agreed to serve on the Animal Control Committee, and they are current members of the Board of Health, which works congruently together. And those nominations are Mitch Williams and Dr. David Ackerman.
Thank you. Anyone else? Would you like to
Make a motion that we appoint Mitch Williams and Dr. David Ackerman to the Animal Control Committee.
Motion by Commissioner Hyatt. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tucker. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. On the Board of Equalization and Review, Dobson Township, is there any nominations? We need to find someone. I need to find someone. I need to find somebody. I had one that turned it down at the end, but, yeah, I need to find somebody. But, Tony? Okay, Fire Commission. Multiple vacancies. Do we have any nominations tonight?
What did you say?
Fire Commission?
Is this the Fire Commission is an open session thing, Counselor? Yeah.
This portion is for the appointments to the applications you've received in your packet.
Yeah, okay.
I think between now and at a minimum, the first meeting in January, you would need to get that roster filled out because they need to conduct their first meeting in January.
So you got one more meeting. You want to do it?
Go ahead.
It's fine with me. That's up to you two.
I'd like to go ahead and appoint Tony Tilley to the Fire Commission. I'd also like to go ahead and appoint Pepper Gallion and Johnny Wood. before we do this, Mr. Jones, would you like give us direction of exactly how many we're supposed to make sure everybody here knows how many are supposed to be from the citizen district and how many are from fire service members?
I'm gonna have to defer to Chris and Ed on that.
There are 7 members. At a minimum, you need 3 from each. But as far as the rules of procedure, if you want to vary from that, you can amend the rules of procedure to adjust the roster based on the applications you've received. So for instance, if you were going to have 4 citizens and 3 fire service members, but you think you have 4 fire service members and 3 citizens, make that adjustment. You can get the nominations in tonight, and then we can make the adjustment to the rules of procedure in the next consent agenda.
Thank you. You want me to go ahead and do that one? Okay. I'd also like to nominate Michael Mayer from State Road, Richard Collins, and Lynn Pruitt. I want to hear from y'all because there's some on here that I should not make a nomination for. If you choose to choose any of those.
6 now.
Mhm.
That's 6. So you got one more?
How many from each?
That's 3 and 3 right now.
We've asked, all these people have agreed to serve.
They all applied.
They all applied.
Okay, okay.
All are applied.
Right back out.
We can hold that last one till next meeting.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, do you want to put it in a form of motion?
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion to appoint Richard Collins, Pepper Gallion, Michael Mayer, Lynn Pruitt, Tony Tilley, and Johnny Wood to the Fire Service Commission.
Motion by Commissioner Hyatt. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Harris. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. That leaves one.
I will mention you do have one more, and then once you make that appointment, we will assign each one an initial term, and we'll stagger them. So some of these names will come back in a year. So we'll stagger them 1, 2, and 3 years so that they're not all coming up at the same time. But we'll do that at the staff level unless the board wants to be involved in that process. That's all that I have for this evening. We do have a request for closed session to consult with legal.
All right, general county business. I'll start with Commissioner Tucker tonight.
I'm good, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate everybody coming. Thank you.
Going.
Same, appreciate everybody being here.
Commissioner Hyatt.
I want to hit on 2 notes quickly, and that both are on the note of gratitude. This past week, Joe and Amy Zalesic provided a training for our EMS staff. It was a training on compassion, and that was something that Joe had seen, thought was very important, wanted our EMS staff to experience, and I have heard nothing but great reviews from the staff attended it, of how nice it was to have training on just compassion and dealing with the general public. And that's a great training for our staff to be able to give to our citizens. And then also to all the groups that held Veterans Day celebrations. We need to always give thanks and be proud of our veterans, and I appreciate those who honored them this past week.
Mr. Harris.
I'm good. Thank you, sir.
I have one quick one. I attended the Veterans Celebration at the First Presbyterian Church in Mount Airy. Mount Airy Commissioner Calvin Vaughn had an awesome speech. I thought he's going to start preaching there for a minute, but everyone was really moved with it. And Park Marion, exalted ruler of Mount Airy Elks Lodge. You got to give a good shout out to North Surry and their chorus, done an outstanding job. East Surry and the ROTC, flag folding ceremony, very professional. Then we had a lunch at Veterans Park, put on by the Enforcers and Southern Bales, Guardian Bales. Awesome awesome, event, good speakers. So I always appreciate our veterans. As long as they're veterans, we'll never forget them. So no one has anything else, make a motion to go into close.
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Goins,
Second.
second by Commissioner Tucker. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Going into close. All right, we're back in open session. We have a few motions. Turn it over to Commissioner Harris.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to approve the draft contract with the volunteer fire departments to distribute those contracts as determined by the Fire Service Committee, and to instruct the county attorney to notify all volunteer fire departments in writing that their current contracts will terminate on June 30th, 2026. That is my motion.
Motion by Commissioner Harris. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Goins. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Daniel Camacho to the Fire Service Commission.
Motion by Commissioner Harris. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tucker. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Commissioner Hyatt.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the funding matrix guide to be populated by tax values as provided by the tax administrator after February the 11th, 2026, and hold harmless consideration for the general fund until fiscal year 29.
Motion by Commissioner Hyatt. I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Have a motion.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Commissioner Goins, a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Harris. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.